The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 71. After the tiger demon returned to its own cave, it noticed that the mountain cat spirit sisters were not there. Its heart stirred, and then it sensed that its kind, which it had arranged to guard the immortal cave, was in a battle with someone. It knew that someone had come to seize the treasure. Hastening over, it coincidentally encountered Liu Fengyi, who had killed its guardian tiger. Now, he couldn't restrain himself any longer, let out a loud roar, and engaged in battle with Liu Fengyi. The battle erupted fiercely from the start. Both sides were determined to defeat the other, displaying an appearance of not relenting until one was dead. After a loud crash, Liu Fengyi felt as though he had been struck by a massive boulder, and his body was sent flying back 7 or 8 meters, crashing heavily onto the ground. When he got back up, the tiger demon had also been pushed back a few steps, but was considerably stronger than him, indicating its ferocity. However, this tiger demon had never suffered such a setback before. It knew that the person before it was no ordinary opponent, so it fixed its icy gaze on Liu Fengyi and took a deep breath. Suddenly, the tiger demon opened its big mouth, followed by a furious roar. But this roar was somewhat unusual. The sound didn't seem to spread, but instead formed a tremendous force, charging straight toward Liu Fengyi. Initially, Liu Fengyi didn't realize the severity of this attack. However, when the sound approached, it pierced his eardrums, causing intense pain. Every pore on his body trembled as if his eardrums were about to tear apart. A roar stirred up the thick fog in the mountain stream, and the mist rose high into the air. Liu Fengyi hastily covered his ears, recalling what his master had once said: when encountering a loud noise, open your mouth wide and shout as well. But after he shouted, his voice was completely drowned out by that furious roar. After shouting, Liu Fengyi opened his hands in confusion. He found that the surroundings had become eerily silent. Even when Little Butterfly and Black Fox shouted with wide-open mouths, he couldn't hear a sound. Could he be deaf? Although he couldn't hear their voices, Liu Fengyi could still understand their gestures. He turned his head and saw that the tiger demon had already pounced in front of him. Because he couldn't hear any sound, his reaction was much slower, and he was hit hard this time. Fengyi, come back quickly. Liu Fengyi felt a momentary blur before his body was sent flying. No need. His body slid far along the ground, shattering countless rocks along the way. At this point, he was in severe pain all over his body. Damn it. I'm not deaf, I can hear now. But because of that impact, it was too intense, and my blood rushed. My ears can pick up a faint sound now. This made Liu Fengyi feel relieved. I won't spare this guy. This incident rekindled Liu Fengyi's fighting spirit. He had thought that even if the tiger demon was formidable in its true form, he should be able to handle it himself. It seemed he had to go all out now. The impact has also made me realize that, as a Martian practitioner, I shouldn't engage the tiger demon head-on. With this thought, he formed several hand seals and laid down a simple formation around his body. At this moment, the tiger demon charged once again. Perfect timing. The formation Liu Fengyi set up didn't possess any killing power, but it slowed down the airflow, causing all attacks that entered the formation to be slightly delayed. Now it's my turn. Indeed, the tiger demon's attack was momentarily delayed as it entered the formation, and Liu Fengyi seized the opportunity. To give credit where it's due, the tiger demon was quite agile. While being sent flying, it swiftly adjusted its body in midair and landed firmly on the ground. Not only that, it opened its large mouth, tilted its head, and took a deep breath, causing its chest to swell. Then it leaped forward once again. Upon reaching Liu Fengyi, it opened its mouth wide and roared fiercely, launching an attack with a familiar move. Although the formation could slow down the attack, Liu Fengyi didn't dare to be careless after the previous setback. He quickly grabbed a massive rock and placed it in front of himself. However, the rock in his hand was instantly reduced to rubble. As the shattered stones scattered, the tiger demon, seeing Liu Fengyi behind the debris, prepared to launch another attack. He didn't want to give Liu Fengyi the slightest chance. With a single palm strike, he aimed to send Liu Fengyi flying, but then he saw Liu Fengyi's hands clasped together, radiating a burst of golden light, which struck right in front of him. The powerful energy sent the tiger demon's body flying 7 or 8 meters away. However, Liu Fengyi quickly realized that the tiger demon was exceptionally strong, and its thick skin and sturdy body had not been harmed. Several successful strikes by Liu Fengyi in quick succession stirred the tiger demon's wild nature, and its beastly characteristics became more apparent. After a wild roar, the tiger demon charged forward again, and this time, its attack was noticeably stronger and faster. Initially thinking of directly facing this move, Liu Fengyi saw the fierce tiger demon and realized that he would surely be at a disadvantage if he did so. He remembered his master and little butterfly, advising him to work on his impulsive nature. It seemed he really needed to change. As the tiger demon attacked closely, Liu Fengyi leaped quickly to evade. Only then did he realize that his choice was the right one. The tiger demon's rage had made its attack truly powerful. The tiger demon was furious that its full-force attack had missed its target. It turned back, its gaze fixed menacingly on Liu Fengyi. Without giving Liu Fengyi a chance to react, its sharp claws swiped toward him. "Do you really think I'm afraid of you?" Evading further would go against Liu Fengyi's style. When he saw the tiger demon pounce, his determination surged. He bit down, channeling his Kai throughout his body and concentrating it in his hand. As the tiger demon pounced in front of him, Liu Fengyi swiftly dodged its attack, and at the same time, the concentrated ki struck the tiger demon's body. However, this strike still didn't inflict any damage on the tiger demon. It regained its balance and prepared to attack again. Liu Fengyi wasn't naive. He couldn't keep passively taking hits. Seizing a moment to catch his breath, he quickly formed several hand seals, summoning a celestial Kai descending demon sealing thunder. A dazzling golden light struck the tiger demon rapidly. This time, the tiger demon took a substantial hit. Its body was sent flying and crashed heavily onto the ground. Die. Seeing the tiger demon finally brought down, Liu Fengyi changed from defense to offense and refused to give it a chance to rise again. With a wave of his hand, he launched a powerful Kai attack right at its face. It was a solid hit, and even though the tiger demon was formidable, this blow shattered its spiritual essence. Onlookers anxiously watched the battlefield, afraid to miss a moment. But reality once again surprised everyone. The tiger demon somehow escaped from this intense blow. As it turned out, the tiger demon had recently consumed many human hearts and had fallen into the dark path. Its current cultivation level was no longer comparable to ordinary monsters. Combined with its fierce true form, its combat prowess had greatly increased. Liu Fengyi's momentary distraction was seized by the tiger demon, which roared and attacked. Although the attack couldn't be fully unleashed due to the close distance, it was still enough to harm Liu Fengyi. Liu Fengyi was sent flying far once again, crashing onto the ground. The tiger demon closely watched his flying body. Before Liu Fengyi could get up, the tiger demon had already pounced. At this point, it was too late to evade. Liu Fengyi gathered all his Kai into 2 fingers and aimed it at the tiger demon. In reality, the tiger demon was already weakened from consecutive ki attacks. This time, being so close, the ki struck directly at its heart. The tiger demon's body was immediately sent flying, and by this time, Liu Fengyi, exhausted, fell backward. His vision darkened as he passed out. This intense battle left everyone stunned. But who was the ultimate victor in this human's beast showdown? The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 72. Continuing from the previous episode, the intense battle between Liao Fengyi and the tiger demon on the battlefield reached its climax, and everyone watched nervously. Liao Fengyi exerted all his strength to attack the tiger demon, but due to exhaustion, he collapsed backward. Liao Fengyi's full-force strike was quite powerful, hitting the tiger demon's vital point, causing it to be thrown over 10 meters away, crashing heavily onto the ground. In fact, under the continuous onslaught of his energy attacks, the tiger demon had long been on its last legs, and this blow was more than enough to be fatal. At this moment, all the demonic energy formed after consuming human hearts had dissipated, revealing the true form of the tiger demon. On the other side, Liao Fengyi also had a miserable victory. His vision darkened, and he fainted. Fengyi. Everyone was stunned at this point. Initially, they were excited to see Liao Fengyi defeat the tiger demon, but their hearts raced when they saw him faint. Fengyi. Kid, are you okay? They hurriedly rushed forward to check on his condition. The battle with the tiger demon had left Liao Fengyi completely exhausted, but at this moment, he faintly felt another sensation rising within him. This sensation made his vision go black in waves, and his head grew heavier, causing extreme discomfort, but it also felt strangely familiar. Liao Fengyi suddenly realized something, but before he could fully understand it, his body completely lost control, and he fainted. Fengyi, how's everything in Liaodong? Indeed, after passing out, Liao Fengyi found himself in the presence of his master. Every time he saw his master, Liao Fengyi's emotions were mixed. He was glad that his master could communicate with him in this way, indicating that his master was safe. Master, where are you really? You instructed me to come to Liaodong, but I don't know what I should do. Sadly, ever since he followed his master's instructions to come to Liaodong, he had been wandering aimlessly, never really understanding what his master wanted him to do. Your every step in Liaodong, master is watching. Fengyi, you're doing great. But this time, to Liao Fengyi's surprise, from his master's tone and expression, it seemed that his master was quite pleased with his performance. Master also knows that you're about to enter the long white mountain immortal cave to visit the ancient predecessors. It appeared that everything Liao Fengyi did was within his master's expectations, and his master was equally aware of what he would do next. As for that great deity in the cave, what should I do once I find him? Mentioning the great deity in the immortal cave, Liao Fengyi couldn't help but feel curious. He had initially wanted to see the scriptures and treasures left by the great deity, but he hadn't thought about their specific purpose. Well, master, could you tell me a bit about his story first? Instead of answering Liao Fengyi's question, his master slowly began to narrate the story of the great deity in the cave. This great deity was named Jiangrong, also from Mashan, and he was a true member of the Mashan Orthodox sect more than 500 years ago. Speaking of Jiangrong, he was the most talented individual in the entire Mashan sect, a rare genius in the Mashan tradition for several centuries. However, when it came to his temperament and behavior, he was also the most unruly disciple in the Mashan sect. The rules of the Mashan Orthodox sect were very strict, but this guy didn't care about rules at all. During the day, he could pretend a bit because of the pressure from his master and the elders in the sect. But at night, he would sneak out, climb over the walls, and go to the town below the mountain to drink and eat meat. At this time, no one would imagine that he was a disciple of the prestigious Mashan Orthodox sect. He looked more like a wandering adventurer of the martial world. It was in the year when Jiangrong was around 25 or 26 that one day he secretly went to a small tavern in the town to have a drink. After having his fill of food and drink, he suddenly felt a strange aura lingering faintly in the tavern. This aura emanated from a man sitting at a table behind him. Jiangrong knew most of the people in the town, and this man was clearly a stranger who had been silently drinking at the table. Although he felt that the man's aura was somewhat unusual, Jiangrong didn't show any reaction. He settled the bill and left the tavern. But unexpectedly, later that night, in a small alley, he encountered the same man again. At that time, Jiang Rong was feeling a bit tipsy from the cold wind, and he was getting drowsy, just wanting to go back and have a good sleep without paying much attention to the person. But in the instant the two passed each other, Jiang Rong felt that strange aura intensify, and in an instant, a bolt of realization struck his mind. This person was a monster. Indeed, Jiang Rong realized that this man was not human, but a creature in human form. The man clearly sensed that Jiang Rong had seen through his disguise, but he didn't react either. However, as a Martian sorcerer facing a monster, Jiang Rong unconsciously emitted a killing intent. Faced with Jiang Rong's killing intent, the man didn't react at all. He merely stopped in his tracks and slightly tilted his head. Don't cause trouble. In theory, sorcerers and monsters are natural enemies who cannot coexist, but Jiang Rong was free-spirited and unbound by convention. He thought, even if the heavens allow you to cultivate to this level, why should I meddle in your business? With those words, Jiang Rong continued to walk up the mountain, swaying along, and the man also remained unfazed, never looking back at Jiang Rong. They thought it was just a passing encounter with a monster, and that would be the end of it. However, they could never have imagined that a major incident would occur in the town the following night. A wealthy family surnamed Li in the town was wiped out. The entire family of dozens of people met a gruesome end in their home. Not only that, the killer set a massive fire that consumed everything, clearly intending to destroy all evidence. With such an incident happening, Jiang Rong couldn't sit still. Amidst the blaze, he arrived at the scene, wanting to investigate what had happened. Little did he know, here he sensed the presence of a monster, the same aura from the fox demon of the previous night. This infuriated Jiang Rong. He had spared the demon last night, and it had committed such a heinous act. Following that thread of monstrous aura, Jiang Rong tracked it down to the town center and indeed found the fox demon. Bold monster, how dare you take lives? This time, Jiang Rong couldn't spare him anymore. He leaped forward and blocked the demon's path. I won't spare you today. Get lost. Seeing Jiang Rong blocking the way, the fox demon didn't retreat but instead quickened its pace and charged forward. Tian Shu. Kill. This further infuriated Jiang Rong. He brandished his heavenly gang sword technique, unleashing a special demon-slaying move towards the fox demon. The fox demon was quite formidable. Knowing the danger of this move, it didn't dare to underestimate Jiang Rong. It stopped its movement, took a strong stance, and firmly blocked the attack with its sword. After the sword energy passed, it hadn't been harmed in the slightest, but its eyes were fixed on Jiang Rong with a malicious glare. Thinking of escaping? No chance. However, perhaps the fox demon also understood Jiang Rong's prowess, as it didn't stay for battle but instead transformed into a fox-shaped shadow and leaped over the wall to flee. Jiang Rong couldn't let it escape and pursued it, sword in hand. However, to Jiang Rong's surprise, after chasing for just 2 blocks, the fox demon vanished without a trace, and he witnessed another gruesome massacre. In the center of the town, another wealthy family surnamed Li was experiencing a slaughter, filled with sounds of hacking and screams. From a distance, Jiang Rong saw the gates of this family's courtyard wide open, with several black-clad individuals ruthlessly attacking the members of the Li family in the courtyard. These black-clad assailants were highly skilled, and with their sharp weapons, the ordinary members of the Li family stood no chance. They fell one by one in pools of blood. Moreover, it was evident that these black-clad individuals were not mere bandits or thugs, but had received strict training. Their actions were precise and ruthless, one slash after another. Their methods were exceptionally brutal, sparing no one in this family, regardless of age or gender. Not a single member was intended to survive. While carrying out the massacre, they didn't forget to set a raging fire. Watching this horrifying scene of carnage, Jiang Rong's teeth clenched tightly, producing a grinding sound. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 73. We were just talking about how Jiang Rong, who was tracking the fox demon, unexpectedly witnessed another brutal massacre. Who are these people? How dare they commit such heinous acts? Several individuals in black displayed ruthless methods, and in an instant, they slaughtered everyone in the Li family. This infuriated Jiang Rong, and he was ready to draw his sword. There's nothing to discuss with these people. But before Jiang Rong could make a move, someone from behind the black-clad figures shouted loudly and attacked ahead of time. Jiang Rong focused his gaze and saw a man leaping down from the Li family's mansion. He held a longsword and charged straight into the midst of the black-clad figures. Upon closer inspection, this person turned out to be the fox demon he had just faced. The fox demon acted swiftly, first kicking down one of the black-clad individuals and then lightly landing on the ground. These black-clad individuals were equally coordinated and didn't hesitate. Two of them brandished their swords and lunged at the fox demon from both sides. While it had been unexpected earlier, now facing the two skilled black-clad individuals attacking from both sides, Jiang Rong was curious about the fox demon's abilities. Surprisingly, the fox demon indeed displayed exceptional martial skills. With just one move, he defeated two black-clad individuals. What was rare was that he only injured them and didn't actually kill them, which made Jiang Rong look at him with some admiration. Committing such evil deeds and still claiming to be part of a righteous sect. But the remaining three black-clad individuals quickly surrounded the fox demon. The fox demon's words puzzled Jiang Rong for a moment, but the three black-clad individuals seemed visibly stunned upon hearing it, clearly being touched on a sore spot. So, you're a monster. Form the three talents, subduing demon formation. One of the three leaders among them suddenly recognized the fox demon's identity and gave a command. The other two individuals instantly moved, leaping to the fox demon's sides, and arranged themselves into a formation. Seeing this subduing demon formation, Jiang Rong was taken aback. How could these black-clad individuals possess such a formation? Setting aside his bewilderment, Jiang Rong observed that the three black-clad individuals had trapped the fox demon in the middle and immediately initiated the formation, creating a predicament that prevented the fox demon from escaping. Immediately, the leader of the group of black-clad individuals cast a spiritual symbol that shot straight towards the fox demon. The fox demon, despite having decent abilities, was struggling against this formidable subduing demon formation. He quickly blocked the spiritual symbol with his sword, but it seemed quite strenuous. In an instant, his body was propelled more than 10 meters away, crashing heavily into a wall. The sturdy wall bore a large dent from the impact, indicating that the fox demon was seriously injured. At this point, Jiang Rong could no longer stand by and watch. These wicked black-clad individuals were about to dismember the fox demon with their weapons. Jiang Rong sighed and finally took action. These black-clad individuals were indeed skilled, but they were no match for Jiang Rong. One of them was struck through the chest by his sword. The other two had barely made a move before Jiang Rong's sword cut through their flesh. However, Jiang Rong showed restraint and spared their lives. Several black-clad individuals lost their ability to attack. Jiang Rong leaped in front of the fox demon with both feet touching the ground. Come with me. At this point, the fox demon, weakened by the formation, hesitated for a moment, but ultimately chose to trust Jiang Rong. Jiang Rong brought the fox demon to his room within the Moshan sect. By now, the fox demon had fallen unconscious. It wasn't until the following night that the fox demon regained consciousness. It seems you know why those people massacred the Li family. Upon waking up, the fox demon noticed that his wounds had been treated, and there was someone sitting by his bedside. For a sword, I see now. An ancient divine weapon stolen from the Qiu tomb. The fox demon's words made everything clear to Jiang Rong about the situation's origins. As for those black-clad individuals, there's no need to explain. I understand. Jiang Rong had also figured out the identity of the group of black-clad individuals. He had brought the fox demon to his room, following the saying that the most dangerous place is often the safest. Rest for a bit after taking this pill. I'll handle this matter. Let's set aside this fox and human for now and discuss the second Lee family that was wiped out. At this moment, in an inconspicuous little house behind the Lee family's estate, 3 black-clad individuals were digging up a long iron box from the ground. Their plan from the previous night had been thwarted by the fox demon and Jiangrong, but they hadn't given up. Tonight, they had finally found what they were looking for. As the iron box was opened, it revealed an ancient sword with a jet-black blade. Despite being buried for many years, its dazzling sharpness still sent shivers down the spine. This is the Spirit Fox Sword. The 3 black-clad individuals were too excited to notice that someone was observing their every move from the rafters. That someone was, of course, Jiangrong. Seeing that the timing was right, he decisively made his move. These 3 individuals were clearly no match for Jiangrong. Within moments, the hard-earned divine weapon was taken by Jiangrong. Bastards. An hour later, a furious roar echoed from a large building in Maoshan. A bunch of useless people, an outer sect disciple and a fox demon, and you can't handle them. Jiangrong's guess was correct. Upon seeing these black-clad individuals' skills and their familiar 3 talents subduing demon formation, he knew they were inner sect members of Maoshan. No matter what means you use, you must retrieve the item. Yes, here, let's briefly explain the backstory. The 2 Lee families were actually expert tomb robbers. This time, they somehow managed to break into the Qiu tomb and obtain this ancient divine weapon. Calm down, Deputy Sect Leader. Remember to act with dignity. But somehow, this news got leaked to outsiders. Who wouldn't want an ancient divine weapon? They secretly demanded it from the Lee family several times, but each time they were brushed off, being told that they hadn't obtained any ancient divine weapon. This eventually led to the annihilation of both families. The Deputy Sect Leader is right. The situation has escalated to this point. As a reputable Orthodox sect, they must have a legitimate reason. The next morning, the major sects from the mountain came down to the Lee family's estate to investigate the deaths of over 20 people. This was the work of a fox demon, in collusion with wicked individuals, causing great misfortune to the region. After a thorough examination, they finally announced their investigation results to the townspeople, stating that someone in the town had colluded with demons to commit evil deeds. We, as righteous practitioners, cannot allow demons to harm people. It is our duty to eradicate evil and uphold the right path. Everything became transparent, with legitimate sorcerers purging demons and upholding justice in the mortal world. For a time, the pursuit of Jiangrong and the fox demon became a righteous cause for enforcing justice. In reality, there was no need for a pursuit because Jiangrong and the fox demon didn't hide. Instead, they frequented tea houses and taverns without any hesitation. Don't you regret it? You are from a reputable sect. Titch, I haven't regretted anything yet. A leisurely attitude, as if waiting for someone to come. Finally, they've arrived. It didn't take long for the expected guests to arrive. Jiangrong, you are an outer sect disciple of our sect. How could you conspire with demons for evil deeds? It was said that not only 9 guardians from the major sects were mobilized at that time, but even the 3 sect leaders themselves appeared. Considering your youth, making mistakes is inevitable. If you hand over the fox demon and the spirit sword, I can accept you as an inner sect disciple. The words of the 3 sect leaders sounded righteous, but to Jiangrong, they were like a harsh noise. An inner sect disciple of a reputable sect. I'm not interested in that. Jiangrong never liked their sanctimonious behavior, especially since he had learned about their dirty dealings behind the scenes. Is your injury healed? It healed a long time ago. Attack. It is said that this duo, the man and the fox, broke through the heavenly garments subduing demon formation, laid out by the 8 major sects, and escaped. They turned Moshan upside down. They continued to evade various pursuits and headed north. They vanished after entering Changbai Mountain, and there was no news of the man and the fox. Nearly 100 years later, they resurfaced during the great battle between the Wolf King and the Qianbai priest, but no one can say for sure if it was them. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 74. We were just talking about it. Liao Fengyi, who fainted, saw his master in his dream and told him about the identity and legends of the person and the fox in the stone cave. After finishing speaking, his master's figure gradually faded, and Liao Fengyi woke up from his dream. As soon as he woke up, he saw Xiaodi and Ahuo not far away. It wasn't that nobody cared about him, but when they rushed over, they found that his breathing was even, and this guy was actually asleep. You're awake. You've got some nerve being able to sleep at a time like this. What are you guys doing? Seeing him wake up, Xiaodi and Ahuo were naturally happy, but Liao Fengyi noticed that they seemed to be busy looking at the other side. No, it won't work. I tried, but I can't break the big formation inside the cave. Then they saw the black fox climbing up from the cliff, looking extremely disheveled. That's the Central Plains formation. You have to do it, and you can pick the treasures inside. It turned out that this guy couldn't wait and went to explore a path first, but the big formation was too powerful, and he ended up failing. So there are things even you, Black Fox, can't handle. Watching his disheveled appearance, Liao Fengyi couldn't help but smile. This guy was usually so arrogant, but he didn't expect to face defeat. Don't worry. Everything inside belongs to you guys. As they chatted, the other three seemed to sense something was amiss. Liao Fengyi, who had awakened from his fainting, seemed to have changed, but it was hard to put a finger on exactly what had changed. But if you're mine, Liao Fengyi seemed to become more resolute, as if a ship drifting aimlessly on the sea suddenly found its direction. We should create together a new world for the immortal family. And the way he spoke seemed to suddenly gain depth, leaving everyone a bit bewildered. All right, let's go down. Wait for me. Before a few people could understand his meaning, he floated and jumped down the deep ravine, and the others had no choice but to follow suit. As we mentioned before, this stone cave is not far from the cliff top. It's just shrouded in thick fog all year round, unknown to most people, and the group easily reached the cave entrance. What surprised the three even more was that Liao Fengyi accurately found 4 semicircular stones from the 4 corners of the ceiling formation. It was clear that 2 stones had been split in the middle, each inscribed with the characters Heaven, Earth, Yin, Yang. This is called the Yin-Yang Heaven-Earth formation. These 4 are the key points of the formation. Liao Fengyi didn't hold back and generously explained the layout and formation of the big formation. Once the key points of the formation are removed, half of the big formation is already broken. After taking out the key points of the formation, he condensed the energy in his hands and consecutively made hand seals to begin breaking the formation. Listening to his explanation, everyone understood that breaking this yin-yang heaven-earth formation was as difficult as reaching the heavens for those in the immortal family. But in Orthodox Moshan Taoism, this formation is just an entry-level guardian formation and not considered particularly challenging. However, the person who set up the formation was highly skilled in Taoism. Those who do not understand the orthodox methods would suffer greatly if they tried to break the formation. It seems that Zhang Rong deliberately arranged it this way. Even if ordinary mountain immortals found their way here, they would be unable to enter the cave, just like the tiger demon. Only those who have some connection or knowledge of orthodox Taoism can enter. All right, let's go inside. Without much talk, the large formation broke soon after. Liao Feng turned back and called out before walking into the cave. But as soon as they entered the cave, a highly oppressive atmosphere enveloped them. making everyone nervous. Approaching closer, the group became even more astonished. The divine figure in this cave should have lived 500 years ago. Even if they were proficient in Taoism and lived longer, they should have been dead for hundreds of years. Yet at this moment, this corpse still looked lifelike, as if it could come back to life at any moment. Beside him was a worn-out ancient book, and in front of him lay the corpse of a red fox, while on the side was an ancient black sword. Liao Feng, an outer disciple of Maoshan, bowed to Senior Zheng, following the master's teachings. Because they had heard the master's account and knew that this was a senior within the sect, Liao Feng immediately knelt down. With his bow, Xiaodi and the others also followed suit. After bowing twice, Liao Feng reached out and took the ancient book from the divine figure's arms. After flipping through a couple of pages, he realized that it contained the teachings of the Taoist and the practice methods of the immortal horse clan. Wow, this sword is amazing. At this moment, a voice of excitement came from behind. It turned out that Black Fox had already clenched the black ancient sword in his hand. Sword spirit. Blood sacrifice. This sword has a sword spirit. Try communicating with it using a blood sacrifice. Seeing that Black Fox liked it, Liao Feng generously taught Black Fox how to perform a blood sacrifice to bond with the sword, surprising Black Fox. Xiaodi, take a look. This contains some advanced techniques for the immortal family and the horse clan. Not only that, with a wave of his hand, he threw the secret book of cultivation to Xiaodi, allowing everyone to read it together. Wow, that's great. These people are not fools. That's an incredible book, and what it contains is extremely helpful for everyone. Liao Feng's generosity really took everyone by surprise. Master, are you saying that Zhang Rong is my master? But they didn't know that in his recent dream, in addition to telling him about Zhang Rong and the spiritual fox's legend, his master also revealed their relationship. After Zhang Rong left, our branch was expelled from Maoshan, but we take pride in him. It turned out that although his master was from an outer branch of Maoshan, he belonged to the same sect as Zhang Rong. Due to Zhang Rong's actions, his master had been exiled from the orthodox Maoshan tradition, and the Maoshan sect had never recognized this branch's identity. You've taken his legacy, so you must carry on his will and establish a new sect. Establish a sect. Although Zhang Rong's actions led to his excommunication, his master didn't hold any resentment. Instead, he took pride in Zhang Rong. Both Taoists and demons can be good or evil, and assisting benevolent demons on the right path, having the correct moral values towards cultivators and demons alike, is our way. Master wants Liao Feng to continue Zhang Rong's legacy and create a sect where humans and demons can coexist. Master, I'm not very capable, and I'm afraid I might not be able to fulfill this great task. Liao Feng had lived in the mountains since childhood. Although he received extensive teachings from his master, he had never had such ambitious thoughts of starting a sect. You're worthless. If master chose you, there's a reason. But his master seemed to have confidence in him. You were born in the wilderness, untainted by the secular world. Despite your impulsive nature, you're inherently kind-hearted, and you have your principles and convictions. In his master's eyes, perhaps his carefree and naive nature wasn't such a bad thing. Starting with Ahuo, you've always been able to befriend some cultivators from the righteous path. You will surely fulfill master's command. In the eyes of orthodox sects, his current alliance with demons was likely seen as deviating from the righteous path, but his master didn't seem to think so. Moreover, I'm getting old, and my time is short. You have no choice. Upon hearing this, Liao Feng snapped out of his shock. His master's appearance this time was truly aged and feeble compared to previous times. Master, where are you exactly? When will your disciples see you again? Seeing his master's frailty, Liao Feng's heart ached, and he kept asking about his master's whereabouts. Very well. His master let out a long sigh and revealed a bit more. I fear I won't hold on much longer. My lifespan is nearing its end. Let you see me one last time." Liao Feng had initially thought that knowing his master's whereabouts would allow them to reunite quickly. However, the following scene was like a bucket of cold water in the winter, drenching him. In the image his master showed him, he was bound in a dimly lit stone chamber. But with his master's abilities, who could have brought him to such a state? But the reality was right in front of him, and Liao Feng couldn't make sense of it. "If you grow quickly, perhaps there will be a day when I can meet you again." The image his master showed him flashed by, but from his master's heavily scared body, it was clear that he had endured many inhumane tortures. "Master, how could this happen to you? Who on earth did this?" Tears welled up in Liao Feng's eyes. "He's also my disciple. I've spent my whole life trying to nurture him into a capable individual." But it was apparent that his master didn't want to say too much. Liao Feng knew his master was afraid he would risk coming to rescue him. But alas, human hearts are unpredictable. My master misjudged him. Even with my master's abilities, he was trapped. If Liao Feng went, it would only be sending himself to die. "Master, where are you? I will definitely rescue you." In other words, Liao Feng was not strong enough at the moment. "Practice diligently, and one day you will fulfill my command, and I will have no regrets." After saying that, his master's body slowly faded away. Master. Liao Feng certainly understood his master's intentions. He truly regretted not progressing faster. If he were strong enough, his master wouldn't have had to reveal everything to him. If he were strong enough, he could have tracked his master's location with his master's remaining spiritual knowledge. Liao Feng looked deeply at the people in front of him. He knew that to become stronger, he needed their help. Setting aside Liao Feng's change of heart, let's talk about Black Fox. After listening to Liao Feng's words, he cut his middle finger and dripped blood onto the black ancient sword. Black Fox. The sword spirit is ferocious, be careful. So powerful. As soon as the blood dripped onto the blade, the ancient sword began to shake inexplicably. While Black Fox was still somewhat stunned, Liao Feng loudly reminded him, "You little rascal, why didn't you say so earlier?" Immediately, Black Fox felt a surge of cold air rushing towards him. Could this be the sword spirit? He didn't expect it to be so fierce. The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 75. Continuing from the previous episode, Black Fox, upon hearing Liao Feng's words, let a drop of blood fall onto that pitch-black ancient sword. But this amount of blood wasn't enough. Unexpectedly, as soon as his blood touched the ancient sword, it was immediately absorbed into it. The sword's body started to tremble strangely, and a chilling coldness followed. "Want to drink? Huh, fine." Upon hearing Liao Feng's reminder, Black Fox became determined. His fingertip transformed into a blade, and he promptly cut a long gash on the back of his hand while holding the sword. Then fresh blood instantly gushed out, all flowing onto the blade of the ancient sword. Strangely enough, not a single drop of this blood was wasted. It was all absorbed by the ancient sword. "How much do you want? I'll give you as much as you need." As the ancient sword absorbed more and more blood, its tremors intensified, and it began to emit a faint black aura. Next, the black aura solidified, becoming increasingly substantial. After an unknown amount of time had passed, Black Fox suddenly noticed that those black auras had formed a massive ferocious beast above his head. This ferocious beast exuded an extremely malevolent aura. Not to mention Black Fox, even the people behind him felt their hairs stand on end from the malevolent aura, illustrating the sheer fierceness of the sword's killing intent. At this point, the sword's tremors became even more violent, and Black Fox was struggling to hold on. Helplessly, he twisted his wrist and plunged the ancient sword into the nearby rock, exerting all his bodily strength on it. However, this action triggered a fierce resistance from the ancient sword. An overwhelmingly strong killing intent erupted, nearly toppling Black Fox. Even more terrifying, the malevolent aura invaded his body, and Black Fox could barely control his own thoughts. He was on the verge of drawing the ancient sword and going on a killing spree. Just at this moment, Liao Fengyi took action. His spiritual energy surged in his hands as he forcefully pressed down on Black Fox's shoulder. Focus your mind. Don't react to the malevolent aura. You need to be even more ruthless than it. This force was immense, not only instantly suppressing the surging malevolent aura, but also pinning Black Fox to the ground. Come on, with Liao Fengyi's assistance and reminder, Black Fox's determination and fighting spirit grew even stronger. He roared and directed all his strength toward the ancient sword. This turned out to be quite a situation as the malevolent aura released by the ancient sword collided with Black Fox's power, resulting in a sudden explosion in midair. Putting aside Black Fox, who was determined to subdue the ancient sword, let's talk about what was happening outside. In a village at the foot of the mountain, a lively grand celebration was underway. At this moment, the village was filled with the deafening sounds of drums, colorful decorations, thunderous applause, and piercing cheers, repeatedly elevating the atmosphere to its zenith. As we approached to take a look, the focal point of this exuberant celebration turned out to be three burly men who hadn't been seen for a long time, the three tyrants of Liaodong. Are we heroes, however, considering the situation in front of them? These three guys were obviously a bit bewildered. Could it be related to what happened last night? What on earth was going on? Let's start with the three tyrants of Liaodong and their encounter from yesterday. The story goes that the three tyrants of Liaodong, after leaving Liao Fengyi and the others, ventured deep into the mountains, but it turned out they got lost, and they wandered around in the mountains for several days. So hungry, I need water. These past few days had taken a toll on the three of them. They were not only tired and exhausted, but also starving to the point that their bellies were stuck to their backs. If we don't find water soon, we'll die. Look, quick, look. Yesterday, the three of them emerged from a dense forest, utterly exhausted and nearly on the brink of collapse. However, at that moment, the second guy suddenly let out a loud shout. A hot spring. It turned out that within this forest, there were several hot springs emitting hot steam. It's real, a hot spring. The three of them could hardly believe their eyes. It was like craving ice during a hailstorm, desiring a nap and falling headfirst into a warm bed. It was just like that. Quick, let's jump in. The three of them hurriedly shed their clothes and jumped into the pool. These past few days of wandering in the woods had left them famished and weary. Now, soaking in this hot spring, they felt incredibly comfortable. Oh, let out a fart. I'll join in too. Oh, so comfortable, however, as the three of them relaxed. It was a sight to behold. Although it was comfortable, they weren't fools and had been wondering why this relatively small pool continued to supply hot water. How come there's a hot spring here? And the water is so hot. I didn't feel any spring under us. It must be an intermittent spring. Not to mention, second guy was thoughtful. He had heard before that this kind of underground hot spring was either a spring head or an intermittent spring that gushed every once in a while. Just as second guy finished speaking, the three of them immediately froze. Sure enough, the gushing of the intermittent spring was too violent. A massive column of water rapidly surged out, enveloping the entire pool in a scalding rain. Damn, I'm getting scalded to death. Can't you block it for me? After the gushing, the pool temporarily dried up, and they had to wait for the next surge to fill it again. This time, the three tyrants of Liaodong were stark naked and exposed. Don't go. There will be more water later. We don't know you. Are you shameless enough to put on clothes? Why aren't you mentioning us? Fortunately, they had finished bathing. The three of them hurriedly left the hot spring, preparing to find a place to dry their clothes. Let's go find a place to dry our clothes. Hey, there's a rundown temple up ahead. Come on, let's hide there. Meanwhile, a tragedy was unfolding in the village below. A monster had invaded the village, killing anyone it encountered. It had already knocked down over a dozen people. Although there were plenty of men guarding the village, they were no match for this monster. It was a wild boar demon, unbelievably enormous, resembling an elephant in size, and exceedingly ferocious. It rampaged through the village, injuring people and demolishing houses. The violent wild boar demon was considered invincible in the eyes of the ordinary villagers. Just looking at its terrifying appearance made people's legs tremble. Hand over the treasure map, and I won't slaughter the village. I'll come to collect it after daybreak. As the villagers were subdued, the wild boar demon suddenly transformed into a human form. If you don't hand it over, I'll go on a killing spree. With this statement, the villagers realized he had been sent by someone. Rumors had been circulating that there was a treasure map in the village, and incidents of harassment for it had occurred before. Where could there be a treasure map in the village? We will resist him to the end. Resist to the end. But there really wasn't any treasure map in the village. The villagers had no choice but to organize themselves again to fight the wild boar demon to the end. Regarding that wild boar demon, he didn't actually want to leave just now. It was because he had killed too many tonight, and he was afraid that divine retribution was imminent. At this point, he was also somewhat frightened. However, he had come prepared, having scouted the area earlier and identified a mountain temple nearby. The temple had a solemn and dignified deity statue that could temporarily ward off divine punishment. This was a common method used by wild immortals in the mountains to evade divine retribution. They would typically hide under the statue to escape heavenly punishment. The wild boar demon entered the temple and sat down at the feet of the deity statue. He felt much relieved, thinking that no matter how great the heavenly retribution, it couldn't strike the deity statue. But this time, he was indeed mistaken. Shortly after sitting down, a thunderous explosion from above shattered the temple's roof. This frightened the wild boar demon, and he quickly looked up. Sure enough, the roof had been blown open. He had some doubts and immediately turned his gaze to the deity statue. Whose filthy underwear is this? However, when he looked, it nearly twisted his nose. 3 colorful and flowery pairs of underwear were hanging on the deity statue. Wasn't this impurity defiling the statue's divine power? What are you yelling about, you pervert who stole underwear? As soon as the wild boar demon spoke, 3 butt-naked old men emerged from behind the statue, covering their essential parts and challenging him. I'll kill you. This further infuriated the wild boar demon, and he howled as if he was about to charge and bite these 3 men to death. But to his surprise, the thunder from above showed no mercy and gave him no chance. Suddenly, a tremendous thunderbolt struck down, directly hitting the wild boar demon. This once successfully cultivated demon, who had strayed onto the wrong path, was turned into charcoal by the divine thunder. The small temple was also destroyed by the divine thunder at the same time. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 76. The wild boar demon fled into the mountain god temple, thinking it could seek refuge from divine punishment using the temple's deity statue. However, unexpectedly, it encountered the Liudong 3 heroes. And now, due to a heavenly thunderbolt, the small temple is destroyed. Meanwhile, in the village, a group of young men armed with axes gathered, ready to come and slay the wild boar demon. When they arrived at the scene, they hadn't seen the preceding heavenly thunderbolt, but witnessed only a flash of golden light and the small temple's destruction, along with the death of the pig demon. In the midst of the ruins, 3 figures emerged from the dust and smoke. These 3 individuals all appeared extraordinary in stature, Clearly having just undergone a great battle, they stood up somewhat wearily. Three heroes, it was you who killed the wild boar demon. It didn't take much to see that the ferocious wild boar demon was undoubtedly slain by these three heroes. It's nothing, just a small wild boar demon. The villagers' words briefly left the trio puzzled. While they didn't understand what was meant, they went along with the flow. Great, please inform our clan leader. Tell him that three extraordinary heroes have come to help us eliminate the demon. Seeing them admit it, the villagers were overjoyed and quickly dispatched someone to inform their clan leader. Heroes, please come with us down the mountain. We must express our gratitude properly. Well, all right, we were quite busy, to be honest. And so the Liaodong three heroes smoothly became celebrated demon slayers, receiving a warm welcome from the villagers. Your arrival has brought great honor to our humble abode. After the welcoming ceremony, complete with drums and gongs, the three of them were invited into the clan leader's residence. We are grateful to the three heroes for saving our people from danger. We are not sure how to properly express our gratitude. The clan leader, a man of around 70, was polite and well-spoken, though his voice was somewhat high-pitched. Well, serving the people is not troublesome. Seeing that the other party was from an educated family and facing this somewhat formal situation, the Liaodong three heroes' faces turned red. They managed to utter a sentence with some effort. Please accept this small token of appreciation from me and our people. Gold coins. The next scene left the Liaodong three heroes completely dumbfounded. Their hearts raced, and apart from the glittering objects, they couldn't see anything else. I would like to request that the three heroes stay with us in our humble abode to protect our clan. Sure. Whatever the old man said next, the three of them didn't hear at all. Their minds and their hands were united for the first time, and besides those shining things, they couldn't see anything else. Rest assured, with the Liaodong three heroes, we will have peace in our land. Then it's up to you three. Prepare a feast for the heroes. Take a bite quickly. Emma, this gold is really something. Next, a sumptuous feast unfolded. There was a table full of dishes, flying in from the heavens, running on the ground, swimming in water, everything you could imagine. Speaking of which, as night fell, and after having a hearty meal, the third brother suddenly felt the urge to relieve himself. He didn't want to go to the restroom, so he sneaked to the back porch to do his business. Uncle, is it going well? What's going on? Unexpectedly, while he was doing his business, he suddenly heard people conversing near the moon gate. This frightened him, as if someone found out he was relieving himself outdoors. They might expel the three of them. Why do I see those three people looking bewildered? Sha, keep your voice down. Listening more closely to the high-pitched voice, the third brother recognized it was the clan leader and his simple-minded nephew from the village. They won't give up on the treasure map. We need someone to be the scapegoat. The third brother was quite clever. He sensed something was amiss just by listening to the two people's conversation. Observing the two individuals sneakily entering a secret room, the third brother quietly followed them. Uncle, when should we go down and get the treasure? In 3 months. That will be the best time. Inside the secret room, the two men retrieved a scroll from a cabinet. As they gazed at the scroll, their faces brimmed with excitement. Excellent. That's a vast fortune that could rival a kingdom's wealth. Even the most foolish person could now understand that this was the so-called treasure map. It seemed the wild boar demon had a reason to target them. All right, it's securely stored. We mustn't let any information leak. Besides the map, the cabinet also contained numerous gold ingots, sparkling and captivating the third brother's eyes. Next, we'll create a fake map and hand it to those three fools. Then we'll spread the rumor that the treasure map is on them. Exactly. The third brother, hidden in the shadows, understood their wicked scheme perfectly. The third brother originally had a history as a mountain bandit, and when it came to taking good things, they were quite skilled, not to mention these fellows who were plotting to harm the three brothers. If you act unjustly, don't blame us for being unkind. What? Is such a thing possible then? Won't we make a fortune? The third brother easily left the secret room, taking away many gold ingots and the treasure map as well. When he returned to their room, he explained the whole situation to his two brothers. It seemed like their streak of bad luck had come to an end, and springtime for the Liaodong three heroes was just around the corner. Dealing with villains, the Liaodong three heroes might be cowards, but when it came to ordinary villagers, they had plenty of ways. Under the cover of night, the three of them stole 3 horses from the host's house, packed their belongings, and rode out of the village. Of course, as they departed, they set a big fire in the clan leader's house, firmly diverting the attention of the clan leader and others. "Scoundrel, give back my treasure map. It was something I secretly obtained in 50 years. When they extinguished the fire and saw that both the gold and treasure map were stolen, the cunning clan leader finally realized that these 3 individuals were wolves in sheep's clothing. At this point, let's clarify that this treasure map is genuinely related to a massive treasure hoard. Back when the Manchus rampaged through the Central Plains, looting silks, cattle, sheep, and women, and divided the spoils on the spot, all the gold, silver, and jewels they collected were hidden in a remote mountain up north. The purpose was to use it as military funds for future attacks on the Central Plains. This map was the route to the treasure, and the clan leader from the village, who had been a eunuch in the Manchu imperial court for 50 years, secretly copied a version and brought it back, hoping to secure an enormous fortune. Little did he know that word got out, and the shamanic cult came demanding it. The old man claimed it was just a rumor and stubbornly refused to hand it over. But today, it was inadvertently taken away by the Liaodong three heroes. Setting aside the now fortunate Liaodong three heroes, let's talk about the situation of Liao Feng and the others in the Changbai Mountain Immortal Cave. At this moment, in a side cave within the Immortal Cave, a sudden loud noise echoed, followed by dust and sand pouring out of the cave. Liao Feng turned around and saw a person walking out of the cave. It was none other than the Black Fox, who had been subduing a divine weapon in the side cave. Seeing that the treasure sword had stopped resonating and vibrating, Liao Feng knew that the Black Fox had succeeded. "Black Fox, how are you?" However, it was evident that the Black Fox had suffered severe injuries. Liao Feng understood that this was the result of the sword's energy invading his body, communicating with the spirit of the weapon. If not handled properly, his consciousness might be harmed. At the beginning, it's normal to have difficulties. It will get better over time. And this subjugation is just the first step. To truly become one with the sword, it will require a considerable amount of time to adapt. "Don't worry, I'm fine." But little did he know, the spirit within the ancient sword was even more ferocious. While communicating with the Black Fox's consciousness, it truly tormented him. "This sword is ours now." However, the Black Fox gritted his teeth and endured. Not only that, during these past 10+ days in the cave, he had swung over 10,000 swords, achieving the state of unity between man and sword with this ancient sword. Nevertheless, the Black Fox was now at his last gasp, unable to hold on any longer. His body leaned back and fell to the ground. "Black Fox, how do you feel?" After listening to the Black Fox's words, Liao Feng looked at the treasure sword and indeed felt the presence of the Black Fox on the ancient sword. Additionally, there was a sharp sword aura emanating from the Black Fox. Achieving this much progress in just a short 10 days or so left Liao Feng deeply impressed. "How do I feel? I feel like I'm starving to death." "Could you stop scaring people like this? All right, let's go down the mountain and eat. I want meat and some wine. I'm starting to doubt whether you're pretending or not." Time flew by, and a month later, on the road leading to the northwestern desert, 6 individuals arrived in front of a fairly large restaurant. "Innkeeper, hurry up and serve us." The newcomers were none other than the Liaodong 3 heroes. At this moment, they were feeling quite domineering. With a swift kick, they pushed open the restaurant door and shouted loudly, paying no attention to the many other patrons inside. "Hey, there's no more room." Now, the Liaodong 3 heroes were not just ordinary folks. They had recruited a few followers and resumed their roles as leaders of a gang. However, they were still unaware that the old eunuch had already spread the word about them possessing the treasure map, and now many eyes were watching them, both openly and covertly. "We'll be done eating soon. Now that we see the Liaodong 3 heroes, what's the point of eating? Just get out." The Liaodong 3 heroes had been quite high profile on their journey because they had money and people with them. They were acting arrogantly along the way. "And you, get lost, you punks. Quickly prepare a table of the finest dishes for me. If it's late, I'll start killing people." With their behavior, who could still enjoy their meal, ordinary merchants and customers didn't dare provoke them, and quickly got up and fled. "Spit, you dare to make me angry." However, the 3 heroes, who were only concerned with showing off, didn't notice 3 people sitting in a concealed corner by the wall. They had remained motionless. "Oh, it's been a few days, and your temper has grown. Quite impressive. Ha." The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 77. Main Chief, Second Chief, Third Chief. Please have a seat. Continuing from the previous scene, the Liaodong 3 heroes, feeling quite imposing, had driven away the patrons in the restaurant. They were now preparing to sit down, their faces showing a smug attitude. Wow, the 3 chiefs are quite impressive. However, at this moment, they suddenly heard a discordant and irritating sound coming from behind. "Are we supposed to leave too?" The Liaodong 3 heroes only just noticed that there was still a group of people sitting in the corner. Moreover, these 3 individuals were very familiar to them. "What is it, you?" After a brief moment of shock, they went into a frenzy. "Hey, you 3 idiots, why are you talking to our boss?" The heads of the Liaodong 3 heroes were buzzing, but their subordinates were unaware of the situation. During this time, they had received many benefits from the 3 bosses, and now was their chance to show their loyalty. "Boss, times have changed. We can't embarrass ourselves like before. There are 3 of them, and 6 of us." The 3 subordinates spoke loudly, making the 3 bosses turn green. However, they couldn't afford to lose the authority they had worked so hard to establish. A real fight might not end well. "We can't back down anymore." In front of their subordinates, they needed to maintain their demeanor. "Underlings, take action. 3 bosses, will handle this." Upon the order of the Liaodong 3 heroes, their subordinates immediately drew their gleaming knives and menacingly approached Liu Feng and the others' table. "No need to go easy on them. Show them a bit of our strength." "Don't worry, boss." "Hey, which one of you 3 wants to go first?" The 3 individuals struggled to hold back their laughter, watching these 3 people making a fuss. "I'll go first then. By the way, have you all eaten?" Black Fox's body was still somewhat weak, and Little Butterfly was a girl. Seeing this, Liu Feng stood up. "What are you up to? Ha! Don't try to bribe us. How can you be so shameless to offer something?" Liu Feng didn't think it was worth getting into a serious fight with these people. He picked up a pair of chopsticks and picked up 2 peanuts, holding them in front of the 3 men. "Please have some peanuts." Before those 3 guys could understand what was happening, Liu Feng suddenly flicked the chopsticks, and the two peanuts shot towards two of them. Although they were just peanuts, they startled the two individuals quite a bit. They immediately developed large bumps on their foreheads, and blood vessels began to show. Just two peanuts managed to defeat two henchmen armed with blades, which immediately made the Liaodong three heroes realize the difference in strength between themselves and the others. Liao Fengyi was enjoying himself, reminiscing about the games he used to play with his master on the mountain. His hands continued moving. Liao Fengyi's pair of chopsticks moved rapidly up and down, initially leaving the three men puzzled. But suddenly, his chopsticks stopped, leaving the three men in shock. Looking at the flies skewered on the tip of the chopsticks, cold sweat poured down the foreheads of the Liaodong three heroes. "Great heroes, don't be angry. We were just playing around. Young hero, your skills are outstanding, not just in your looks, but also in your martial arts. Under these circumstances, the situation had to change. Why are you still standing there in a daze? Go quickly and arrange a feast for these three distinguished guests. Yes." Don't say anything. These three subordinates were efficient, and a large table of sumptuous dishes was quickly served. Liao Fengyi and his companions had been eating simple and light meals before because Little Butterfly insisted on saving money. Now the three of them were enjoying a feast. "Great heroes, do you have any further instructions? If not, we'll take our leave." The Liaodong three heroes saw that the three were happily eating and thought they could slip away. "A treasure map? What are you? Heard that you have a treasure map on you. Rumor. It's absolutely a rumor. It's not true." But they never expected that their situation had already spread throughout the martial world, and of course, it couldn't escape the ears of Black Fox. "A rumor? Huh. By the way, I recently acquired a treasure sword. What do you think?" Black Fox slowly drew his spirit fox sword from his hand, and it seemed as though lightning had struck the room, instantly lowering the temperature. "Master, we were just safeguarding it for you. And now that we've seen you, we can rest easy." Very obedient. Also, we've eaten our fill." Black Fox took the treasure map and handed it over. This thing, when in the possession of the Liaodong three heroes, would undoubtedly attract deadly trouble sooner or later. "We bid farewell. We're leaving. Take care. We're leaving." It's unclear whether the Liaodong three heroes truly didn't understand at this moment, or were pretending to be slow, but they always seemed to step behind when facing Black Fox and the others. "Hurry up and take out all the money you have on you to offer as travel expenses to the three great heroes." Thanks to Black Fox's continuous reminders, they finally realized what was happening. "Three sirs, buy some snacks for the road. Don't hesitate to spend our money. Quickly." All the money the Liaodong three heroes had on them was transferred to Little Butterfly's hands. Very obedient. It's the least we could do. Safe travels." Until Liao Fengyi and the others disappeared outside the door, the Liaodong three heroes could finally catch their breath. But the pain in their hearts had started to rise. "Robbers, is there no justice left? You actually robbed robbers. Three sirs, are you done showing off your power?" Just as the Liaodong three heroes were talking tough, a voice came from behind. "Who gave you the right to give away our money?" While the Liaodong three heroes had tagged along with the three money-thirsty men earlier, they had no choice but to do so. But now, the Liaodong three heroes had nothing left, and their veins were bulging on their foreheads. Having money makes you the boss. Moreover, even the treasure map was plundered by Black Fox. The three subordinates looked fierce now, and they turned on the Liaodong three heroes faster than expected. The world is cold and cruel. Just a moment ago, the Liaodong three heroes were acting high and mighty, and now their subordinates were beating them up. "With money, we're kings. Without it, you're all nothing. Let's go. We'll seek refuge with the Black Wind Gang." Spit. What a bunch of trash. No man can tolerate such humiliation unless my treasure, our dreams are shattered. Unless there's something even more tragic than this. You three, wait, I'll never forget this grudge. In just half an hour, the three of them went from the peak of their lives to rock bottom, all because of their arch-nemesis. Oh, you're so angry. Are you talking about us? Just as the Liaodong three heroes were speaking harshly, suddenly three familiar figures appeared at the door. How could this happen then? The scene fell silent. We were talking about those three disloyal subordinates, and as for the money and the treasure map we gave you, we don't feel any regret. The atmosphere then became harmonious, except for the trembling voice of the Liaodong three heroes. You don't regret it. That's great. The three horses at the door are also yours. Right, we'll take them with us. Looking at their pitiful appearance, Black Fox felt a bit sorry for them. What? Wait a minute. Finally, the ruthless actions became too much for the Liaodong three heroes to bear. Over and over again, when will it end? These three men were once mountain bandits, and they had been suppressing their tempers. However, during this time, they had regained their sense of power. At worst, it's just death. Facing repeated humiliations, even statues had their limits, not to mention three hot-blooded gentlemen. Sirs, please accept us as your subordinates. But the next scene was somewhat different from what Liu Fengyi had imagined. We're willing to serve you faithfully, young heroes. Despite taking advantage of the situation in front of the three men, Liu Fengyi and Little Butterfly didn't want to have anything to do with them. These three, while not inherently bad, always seemed to get into trouble. Become your subordinates, however, Black Fox didn't immediately refuse, and his tone seemed to soften. Very well, I'll accept you. Indeed, Black Fox agreed, which was a surprise for Liu Fengyi and Little Butterfly. Black Fox appeared unpredictable in his actions, but he was actually quite cautious. The two of them didn't say anything more. Really? That's great. Long live our leader. They thought they would be rejected for sure, but to their surprise, everything went smoothly, and the Liaodong three heroes immediately showed joy. A few people left the restaurant, but this time, Black Fox, Liu Fengyi, and Little Butterfly rode horses to show off their power. What are we doing here? We're going all out to steal back the treasure map. Through hardship, we become great, and behind us, the Liaodong three heroes are still following, galloping all the way. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 78. Continuing from the previous episode, Liu Fengyi and his companions had obtained the treasure map. With the Liaodong three heroes in tow, they set out on their journey. After more than 10 days of travel, they headed north through the Changbai Mountains and entered the vast wilderness of the Mo grasslands. The Mo grasslands seemed so desolate. Black Fox, how much farther is it? Most people believe that the Mo grasslands are lush pastures for nomadic tribes, but it's not necessarily the case. This region can be quite barren, especially with scorching deserts like this. We're getting close, just a little further, and we'll reach the grasslands. There we'll have mare's milk wine and roasted lamb legs waiting for us. Among the three, only Black Fox had been here before, so everyone had to rely on his guidance. Unfortunately, there wasn't even any shade to be found in this scorching heat. What about those three guys? They should face some punishment. Oh, they'll get their share, too. Don't worry, it's not just us who will give them a hard time. Let's go. We'll move ahead. Liu Fengyi and Little Butterfly didn't understand Black Fox's intentions and could only follow him on horseback. Three steeds galloped across the desert. As they watched the three riders disappear on the horizon, they left behind a cloud of dust kicked up by the horse's hooves. "Big brother, I can't go on. I'm about to die. I'm dying too." After eating dust all the way, the Liaodong three heroes were now on the verge of exhaustion. They had walked all the way, and even riding horses was unbearable. "No, we have to endure. Right, the treasure must be ours. People die for wealth, and birds die for food." The Liaodong three heroes had never experienced such hardship before, but they clenched their teeth and persisted. "But can we catch up with them?" Their determination was strong, but catching up seemed difficult. Looking at the three horses disappearing into the distance, their legs had become even weaker. "We must persevere, big brother, second brother. Look at what," just as they were starting to despair, feeling like they were about to be baked under the sun, the third brother's eyes suddenly lit up. That's a paradise. Oh my goodness, it's really a paradise." This time, when they turned around, the three of them were overjoyed. In a place like the desert, they unexpectedly found a small lake with abundant water and grass, and next to the lake was a magnificent and beautiful mansion, like a paradise. The three of them were like drowning people clutching at a lifebuoy, rushing frantically towards the mansion. Somehow, it felt too good to be true. The mansion's gates were wide open, and as soon as they entered, there was a large water tank filled with ice-cold clear water. Burp, that was exhilarating, so sweet, such a delight. The three of them had certainly enjoyed themselves, drinking their fill. If they weren't at someone else's house, they might have stripped down for a bath. And what about little Butterfly? After quenching their thirst, the three of them strolled around the courtyard. They found the surroundings enchanting, with lush greenery and vibrant flowers, resembling the courtyards of southern China. These three hadn't seen anything like this before. They walked while marveling at the scenery, gradually reaching the inner courtyard. In the distance, they could hear the melodious laughter like the tinkling of silver bells. They followed the laughter with their eyes. When they looked closer, their eyes widened. In this part of the courtyard, heavenly music played, and three women in flowing silk dresses were gracefully dancing. On closer inspection, these three women were incredibly beautiful, with graceful figures that seemed as if they could take flight at any moment. With a smile that could captivate 100 hearts, their laughter, like the tinkling of silver bells, sent shivers down their spines. Fair maidens, this couldn't be mere mortals. They had to be heavenly nymphs descended to the mortal realm. The Liaodong three heroes couldn't contain their excitement and shouted in amazement. "May I ask, gentlemen, who are you, and how did you come here?" Seemingly disturbed by the Liaodong three heroes, the heavenly music ceased, and the dancing of the three nymphs came to a halt. Although their performance was interrupted, they didn't seem upset. Instead, they gazed at the three with smiling, gentle eyes. "Listen carefully, ladies. We are the renowned, dashing, and exceptionally skilled Liaodong three heroes. In front of celestial maidens, they had to present their most handsome and heroic side. We've heard of the great names of the three gentlemen. Would you care to spend some time with us, enjoying the springtime together?" The three women's words were even more seductive as they posed with enticing expressions. "Ladies, men and women should maintain their distance. It wouldn't be proper. We are all people of chivalry." At this point, the Liaodong three heroes' souls were almost entranced, but they had to maintain some restraint. "What a pity. There are only the three of us sisters left at home, and we were hoping to find protection from the three gentlemen." The three beautiful women had already seen through the thoughts of the three fools. With a light-hearted remark, they dispelled their concerns. "What, no one's home?" After the Liaodong three heroes had suffered many hardships recently, they were genuinely afraid that there might be 100 or 80 robust guards in the mansion. When they heard that there was no one at home, their excitement reached its peak. "Don't worry, sisters, we'll protect you." Following that, they scrambled to be the first to approach. "Brother, stop touching your clothes. It's a game. You're so naughty. After they rushed in, smelling the fragrant scent and seeing the shy faces of the beautiful women, the Liaodong three heroes felt like they were in a dream, and their hearts blossomed with romance. This playful interaction brought to mind all the sweet words they'd ever heard in their lives. Young man, you are so handsome. You are so, not bad, I mean so beautiful. Let's assume they are speaking to all three. As for the third hero, he had a girl's long sleeves wrapped around his chest. After taking a deep breath of sweet fragrance, he felt every pore on his body was comfortable. I heard that the young man has a treasure map. We'd like to see it. Yes, we have, especially the eyes of that girl. How could they be so beautiful, making it harder to look away? A treasure map. So where is the map now? Do you have it with you? These three fools had no idea. They were under a spell, captivated by those beautiful women, all for that treasure map. But it's already taken by Black Fox. Taken by Black Fox. Those who were enchanted would never tell a lie. They confessed that the treasure map had already been taken by Black Fox. What, the map is not with you? And you dared to take advantage of Miss. As soon as they heard that the treasure map wasn't with the three men, these women immediately changed their demeanor. Wasted Mrs. Effort, tell us, where is Black Fox? They slapped the Liaodong three heroes away. Fairies, hug. Fairies. At this moment, the three fools hadn't come to their senses yet. They foolishly approached those women again. A toad wants to eat swan's meat, but just a moment ago, the heavenly beauties turned into ruthless female villains, attacking the three fools without hesitation. Now they knew that those long sleeves were not just for dancing, but also for striking. Since you're useless now, just die. Let's take the third hero as an example. Before he could reach the women, he was entangled by a sleeve around his neck. This woman was ruthless. She quickly stepped back, using her sleeves like two venomous snakes. This was a critical situation. She strangled the third hero, causing his veins to bulge, and he couldn't breathe. His face turned purple. Seeing that the three of them were about to meet their end at the hands of the three fairies. Bold monster, how dare you harm a person's life? At this moment, a cold voice came from the rooftop. Who goes there? The three women looked up, only to see three figures standing on the roof. Aren't you looking for the treasure map? If you have the guts, come and get it from me. These three women had sharp eyes and could tell that these three men were not to be trifled with, especially the man carrying a sword, who seemed to have deep martial arts skills. Realizing that the three newcomers were hostile, the three women didn't dare to be careless. They quickly withdrew their water sleeves, preparing to fight. With their necks released, the Liaodong three heroes finally regained their lives. Surprisingly, after that fall, the three of them finally woke up and regained their senses. Why are we lying on the ground? I don't know. Could it be, however, after the three men woke up, they didn't remember anything that had just happened? Sisters, did something happen just now? Don't worry, I'll take responsibility. Look at my face. It's all red from your kisses. The various pains in their bodies seem to have confused the three heroes. Black Fox, hand over the treasure map. We'll spare your life. But the three women in front of them didn't have time to pay attention to these three useless men. They raised their voices at Black Fox. Hearing the three sisters' threats, Black Fox and his group jumped down from the rooftop. Seeing this, the faces of the Liaodong three heroes changed immediately, clearly blaming themselves for interrupting their own affairs. You have quite the audacity. The treasure map is on me. If you want it, come and take it. After landing, Liao Fengyi stepped forward. Who are you? And what do you want? Don't try to take everything. One for each of us. I want the one with the flowers. These three women weren't foolish. They could sense the aura around Liao Fengyi, and their expressions became serious. Do you think we're afraid of you, sisters? Attack, however. At this point, it seemed that fear wouldn't help. The leading woman made the first move, wielding her sleeves with force and attacking Liu Fengdi. Spare us, heroes. Although these sleeves were made of cloth, the force behind them was as strong as steel. Several floor tiles were shattered upon impact. The Liudong three heroes finally realized that these were not fairies, but rather three female villains. A fierce battle unfolded in this oasis in the desert. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 79. We were just talking about a treasure map that almost cost the Liudong three heroes their lives, and then Liu Fengdi and his group appeared to save them. These three women in front of them were not to be trifled with. As soon as they arrived, they launched an attack. The power of these water sleeves was quite formidable. It instantly sent rocks flying and raised a cloud of dust. Strangely, when the dust settled, they found only one of the women holding a whip ready to attack. Xiao Dai detested these seductive female demons who used their beauty to tempt others. She put all her strength into her whip and lashed out at one of the women. The woman didn't expect a seemingly weak young girl to possess such skills. She intended to show off her own abilities by receiving the attack head-on, but ended up underestimating her opponent. As for another woman, she wanted to step in and help her sister when she saw her getting into trouble. However, she suddenly heard a greeting from behind and turned around to find a handsome scar-faced man standing there. Before she could react, she was punched to the ground by the guy who showed no mercy. Meanwhile, the other woman also noticed the danger behind her without having to look back. She knew it was the fox demon. As she turned around, she saw a palm already approaching her. Just as she was disoriented by the palm strike, the palm's force moved downward, unexpectedly targeting her chest. Startled, the woman fell backward. So pure yet engaging in such activities. It doesn't make sense. Does it? Get away. Don't touch me. Of course, Black Fox didn't actually grab her, just frightened the female demon a bit. Don't go. Let Big Brother take care of you. No. A shout, and it seemed like a problem arose. The demeanor was entirely different from when they confused the Liudong three heroes earlier. Boss, let me handle this rough work. Just then, Black Fox suddenly felt his body being forcefully bumped into. When he turned around, he saw it was the Liudong three heroes. You three bastards, you're courting death. Ever since we called you Big Brother, the three of us brothers haven't achieved anything. These three female demons actually harmed our brothers. They will surely harm others in the future. We must deal with them properly. Female demons, taste the power of our brothers. Charge. It seems these three are not pure-hearted in their intentions. Rest assured, these three guys are shouting loudly, but their true intentions are as clear as day. Liu Fengdi couldn't help but furrow his brow. Bastards, sisters, attack. The female demons are somewhat afraid to confront Liu Fengdi and the others, but when they see the three useless ones charging at them, they can't help but get angry. You three losers, die. With a flick of her water sleeves, she charges towards the three fools. We may have underestimated the Liudong three heroes before, but now, whether they have the intention to impress Black Fox or are inspired by their surroundings, they firmly block the attack. Monster, watch how I punish you. Starting with the third one, this guy suddenly became more powerful, whether it was to impress Black Fox or was inspired by the beauty around him. He managed to block the attack successfully. This left the female demon stunned. She never expected this guy to suddenly become so formidable, allowing him to firmly embrace her. Ironhead technique. The third one didn't really have any martial arts moves. He just tightly hugged the female demon and didn't let go. His actions can hardly be called an attack. It's more like molestation. This kind of ironhead technique is probably only used by those despicable men. The female demon immediately protested, baring her fangs and trying to bite the third one. The third one isn't stupid. He didn't change his posture and continued to carry the female demon. He quickly rushed outside the building. The female demon soon realized his intention. However, her body was tightly controlled and couldn't break free. She was slammed head-on. "Do you think you can tie me up like this?" As for the leader, he was entangled by one of the female demon's water sleeves, but he didn't seem nervous. The female demon didn't pay him any attention. She tried to shake him off with force, but when she exerted her strength, she found it didn't work. Hence, strength contest. Big Brother is full of strength. At this moment, the leader, for some reason, had an incredible amount of strength. Not only did he not get thrown out, but he also forcefully broke the water sleeve. With another strong pull, he brought the female demon closer. What do you want? Do you want to experience my ultimate move?" The female demon was caught off guard by the leader's sudden attack and didn't know what to do. In the blink of an eye, she was grabbed by the head. Swallowing the mountains and rivers, you. The name of this technique sounds noble, but it's shameless in reality. It's really a wonder that the boss has such good lung capacity. This move blocked them for the time it takes to drink half a cup of tea. When the two finally let go, even the boss was in a semi-dazed state. Disgusting. You. Now, in the courtyard, there's only one woman left. She seems to be experiencing fear as she watches her two sisters defeated, showing some trepidation towards the three brothers. "What are you? Why aren't you attacking?" Big Brother can't wait any longer. But just at this moment, her own opponent did something obscene, even taking off his clothes. "Bastard, go die. Don't think about bullying our sisters." Is this considered an attack? In rage, she aggressively swung her water sleeves. Too weak, but deep inside, she was truly scared. The force behind this attack wasn't as strong as before, and she even let her second brother take over. "I'm quite strong." "Pa, scoundrel, planning to run. There's no way out." A fairly normal sentence turned her face beet red in embarrassment. She didn't dare to approach anymore, quickly turning to escape. Hungry tiger pounces. The Three Stooges techniques sounded more and more audacious, but in reality, they became more and more obscene with each use. "All right, you three devils, reveal your true forms already." Black Fox couldn't stand it any longer. Knowing that if this continued, the comic would become inappropriate for children, he quickly issued a warning to the three female demons. The female demons also realized that they would suffer greatly if they continued like this. Without further hesitation, they all revealed their true forms. The Three Stooges suddenly felt their arms empty as the three female demons transformed and freed themselves. When they looked up, they realized that these were human forms of three large snakes. It seemed like this oasis mansion was likely the place they had been hunting. "Can't we wait a little longer?" Seeing the delicious meal that was almost in their grasp slipping away, the Three Stooges couldn't bear it. They knew they might never encounter such good luck again. "We'll need to interrogate them later. How about you handle the questioning and pressuring for information?" Forcing information out of them, but Black Fox's words instantly extinguished their anger. The enthusiasm that had just subsided was reignited. "All right, should we talk nicely with them, or should you put in some effort to get answers from them?" Black Fox was experienced in interrogation. A single sentence had already breached the psychological defenses of the three women. "Hold on, don't say anything." With Three Stooges fanning the flames on the side, this was more effective than any form of torture. We will talk." After hesitating for a moment, they finally spoke. "We were forced by the shaman cult. With this revelation, it became clear that the three of them were controlled by the shaman cult in the desert. Don't say anything. We haven't even started yet. Based on the words of the three female demons, a powerful force was exposed. Wait for us. And Liao Fengyi's group began their journey into the desert in search of treasure. The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 80. So, Liao Fengyi and the others, after several days of trekking, finally entered the vast grasslands. Hey, Black Fox, a gentle breeze blew across the green expanse, resembling an endless sea. White clouds dotted the sky, and eagles soared high above. The scenery of the northern desert filled the hearts of the three with joy. How much farther do we have to go? I'm really starving. Eat less. It's a weight loss strategy. I shouldn't have released that ground dog this morning. No matter how beautiful the scenery, hunger cannot be ignored. They had walked nearly 100 miles on the vast grasslands without encountering any inhabited places. Yesterday they had caught a few ground dogs, which were delicious but hard to catch, wasting time and delaying their journey. All right, we're almost there. Listening to Liao Fengyi's constant complaints, Black Fox became a bit annoyed. He had come to the grasslands 100 years ago, but the nomads roamed with the pastures, and he had no idea how things had changed now. Look over there. Just as they were speaking, the three of them climbed over a hill, and the sharp-eyed Black Fox spotted a few white dots ahead. They were indeed the tents of nomads. Haha, finally something to eat. Let's go. Mare's milk wine and roasted whole lamb are waiting for us. They had finally seen signs of civilization. The three of them urged their horses and galloped downhill towards the nomad camp. However, the excited trio was unaware that a great danger targeting them was gradually unfolding. First, let's talk about the eagle that had been circling above the three for a while. Seeing the three heading towards the nomads' tents, it suddenly swooped down towards another hill where several people were standing. This eagle, upon seeing the black-clad figure standing on the hill, dived down immediately. The massive eagle, with a wingspan of nearly 2 meters, approached aggressively, but the person standing there remained motionless, showing no signs of fear. The person extended a single arm, and the eagle landed steadily on his forearm. We've located the whereabouts of those three. Who's going to pay them a visit? It turns out that the eagle was trained by the black-clad person, and it obediently perched on his arm at this moment. The black-clad person addressed the words to an old man not far away, who was sitting under a tree and smoking a pipe. Miss Liu is highly skilled. I think it would be best if you went. The old man's words, however, were directed at the elegantly dressed woman sitting under the tree. Didn't you see that guy in white has disappeared? Why should I go? Young master, just put your heart at ease. This woman not only dresses extravagantly and revealingly, but her figure is also enchanting, and her appearance is stunning. Her speech makes one's bones go weak, and she truly has the appearance of a national calamity. If he hadn't gone first, I would have liked to meet him. I heard that the Taoist priest from Maoshan still has some abilities, but her tone, although gentle, carries unfriendliness. And he's a handsome guy. Sigh, a tree. Why destroy it? Don't you think it's interesting to destroy something beautiful? This tree didn't grow easily on this grassland. Just from her ability to quietly destroy a lush tree, you can tell she's absolutely extraordinary. This feeling is truly wonderful, beautiful yet filled with danger. Meanwhile, Liao Fengyi and the others, arriving at the nomad settlement, had no idea they would encounter the grand festival of the nomads. Nomads from hundreds of miles away gathered, and the atmosphere was lively with horse races, eagle hunting, and a particularly exciting event, bullfighting. Most of the nomads' activities revolve around cattle, sheep, and horses, and bullfighting is a spectacle. The nomads cheered for the bulls they favored, creating an intense atmosphere that also excited the three who were squeezed in the crowd. What's so interesting about bullfighting? I want to eat roasted whole lamb. Wow, this is interesting. I'll come find you later. Xiaodi, let's go find some food first. But this depended on the individual. After watching for a while, Black Fox's excitement grew, while Xiaodi found it somewhat cruel, and Liao Fengyi's thoughts were focused on finding food. Just as the two squeezed out of the crowd, the situation in the arena changed. Black Fox couldn't be bothered with them anymore and focused on watching. One large black bull suddenly charged at another bull, forcibly breaking one of its horns. The two bulls now locked heads and were engaging in a fierce struggle. Let's go ask the nomads if they have roasted whole lamb. The bull went wild. As for Liao Fengyi and Xiaodi, they had just squeezed out of the crowd and were about to buy some food from the nomads when they heard sudden cries of alarm from behind. This bull has gone mad. The two turned to look and saw that the crowd was scattering like locusts, rapidly retreating. Before the two could figure out what was happening, they saw two people in front of the crowd being tossed into the air. It was only then that they understood that something had gone wrong in the bullfight arena. They saw a massive black bull, as if it had gone insane, charging out of the arena. This creature weighed nearly a ton, and despite being herbivorous, when it went mad, its colossal body was absolutely not something humans could deal with. Not to mention how many people were injured in the path of this rampaging bull. Just consider this frail old man, who was so frightened by the scene before him that he didn't know how to dodge, and he was about to be charged head-on by the mad bull. Beast, don't harm anyone. Just as the old man's petite frame was about to be trampled under the bull's hooves, someone suddenly rushed out. This was something only Liao Fengyi could do. His kick was quite fierce, actually kicking the raging giant beast off course by several steps. But this brute was incredibly tough. It shook its head as if nothing happened and fixed its bloodshot eyes firmly on Liao Fengyi. Once again, it charged ferociously. Liao Fengyi was no fool. He didn't directly collide with it. He leaped into the air to evade. In midair, he performed a move called 1,000-pound plummet and landed on the bull's back. This caused the large black bull to bellow in pain for a moment. But this beast was indeed formidable, immediately leaping and bucking wildly in an attempt to shake Liao Fengyi off. Liao Fengyi stabilized himself and used an old tree's gnarled roots to grip the bull's body between his legs. The furious bull, in pain, thrashed about even more. He was originally quite foolish and cute. This guy is just like that naive bull. Now things took an interesting turn as this man and the bull engaged in a struggle across the grassland, leaving spectators awestruck. Fortunately, the big black bull exhausted its madness and settled down. To make things even better, the now calm black bull seemed quite docile, listening to Liao Fengyi's commands as it began to walk. Now that's better. Be obedient from now on. Liao Fengyi, whether genuinely naive or pretending, jumped down from the bull's back and gave it some instructions, regardless of whether it understood them or not. Thank you so much for saving me. I'm deeply grateful. At this moment, the frail old man who had been rescued by Liao Fengyi approached, wanting to express his gratitude for saving his life. No need to be polite. Helping others is a duty of people in the martial world. But Liao Fengyi's attempt to say some courteous words of doing good deeds without expecting repayment was cut short as his disobedient stomach growled loudly. Do you have roasted whole lamb at your place? Roasted whole lamb? Naturally, Liao Fengyi fulfilled the old man's request without hesitation. Yes, please come with me to my home. When they arrived at the old man's home, the three of them learned that he was originally a Han Chinese, which explained his attire. However, he had been trading cattle and sheep on the grasslands for many years, and later settled down here after marrying a local woman. "Thank you, sir. I'll go get some mare's milk wine for you." The old man was very hospitable, and even roasted a whole lamb for the three of them. The aroma filled the air, and the golden brown roasted lamb looked incredibly tempting. For a full half hour, no one said a word, simply savoring the delicious food, especially Leo, Fengi, and Black Fox, who were eating heartily. "Wow, this wine is excellent." In the blink of an eye, they devoured the whole roasted lamb. Leaving their stomachs pleasantly full, they couldn't eat anymore, but they still sipped on mare's milk wine. "I really can't eat anymore. You two are disgraceful." "Me too." The fragrant scent of the grass filled the air, and the slightly cool breeze from the grassland added to their contentment, completely washing away their fatigue from the past few days. "Come, try some of the snacks my wife makes." At this point, the old man brought a plate of milk tofu and milk candy for dessert. "Thank you." Watching the hospitable old man, Liao Fengyi felt a bit embarrassed. He was about to say something when suddenly he felt a sharp pain in his head. "Fengyi, the food is poisoned." Then, Ahuo's anxious voice rang in his mind. Ahuo had been scouting ahead and happened to discover that the old man had poisoned the food. As Ahuo's words came out, Liao Fengyi was startled. Looking at the old man again, Liao Fengyi immediately noticed something different about him compared to earlier. "Who are you? Why did you poison the food?" Liao Fengyi, who was straightforward, didn't want to beat around the bush. He stared at the old man and asked the question directly. "What are you talking about? Hey. The old man turned his face, and this time, not only Liao Fengyi, but also Little Butterfly noticed something strange about him. A massive conspiracy was unfolding, and Liao Fengyi and his companions had to figure out how to deal with it.